Welcome to a follow-up on my Love is Blind subtype analysis, brought to you by Squirrel 1 and Squirrel 2. Okay, so here's another couple from Love is Blind, Sara and Ben. Sara talks a lot about the fact that her sister is gay, and she keeps asking Ben, are you going to be able to accept not only my sister into your life, but are you also able to accept all the other people in the world who identify as queer? Do you care about Black Lives Matter? Do you care about these social issues? Because those things are super important to her. And they're more important to her than work. Work is important, but it's not the thing she keeps talking about, right? Family and building a future are important to her. It's not the thing she keeps talking about. They're off to the side. The big thing for her is social causes. I really relate with that. That's something that always stresses me out in friendships and relationships is, can we be on the same page? Do you care that I care? Ben, I don't think he doesn't care, but he doesn't care, you know? He pays some lip service to get by with her. He, I think he just wants to have that connection. Clearly, the fact that the church has hurt a lot of the queer community doesn't bother him enough to stop going to church, so he still goes to service a lot. This is a rosary, just to represent that. But truly, I don't think he cares that much about church either. I think it's more his social subtype wanting to belong somewhere and go somewhere. And so they both have like a relatively high social subtype. I think they express it differently. I think she wants to actually make change and he wants to just fit in. And he also wants to fit in with her. So he's going along to belong. He's probably an Enneagram 9. But we're talking about subtypes here. And I think he cares about money, actually. He cares about his job and the bling. So as long as you have a good job and you go to church, you're just a good person and you deserve love. Very typical. She, in the beginning in the pods, was spicing it up. She was like, well, what do you say about Black Lives Matter? What do you say about LGBTQ rights? And he's like, I'll learn. And, I think she has higher ideals. I think he just says, look, I'm a white man. There is no glass ceiling for me. I've got the money, I've got the religion, we're good to go. Now I just want the wife. So I just want the ring, I want the home, let's settle down. She in the beginning presented as, I want to fly higher. This bird represents ideals. I used it as Pegasus in my other video. She wants to go higher than that. She wants to transcend the mundane. What is religion if it doesn't really heal humanity? What is money if it doesn't donate to causes that support the world? I'm projecting here. I don't think she actually said that. That's what I would think if I were in her shoes, because I have been in her shoes. She wants to go higher. And so the really interesting thing is when they get out into the real world, when the pods fade away and the conversation has to be put into practice, there's this gathering where he brings a very diverse group of friends, people of color and somebody who identifies as queer, to meet up with her. And it's pretty strategic if it's manipulative. And if it's genuine, then good for him. But he brings a whole new cast of characters into the picture. And he introduces her to all his other friends. And so, my goodness, this is definitely a home video. So she seems satisfied. She seems very satisfied with that. Why don't I just bring everybody in instead of moving the camera? There we go. She's like, okay, that's good enough for me. The interesting thing is then the friends were like, well, would you go to church with him? It's like they're like having his back, like, okay, so you want us to care about you want him to care about social justice. Are you going to go to church with him? And this is where I think she wants to belong and be accepted by the group. So she's like, Yeah, I'll go to a service. um, so by now, I think this bird has gone away into the woods, disappeared beneath the flowers. Because when people are falling in love, flowers trump everything. Flowers trump birds, unfortunately. It's a very sad reality. It's really hard to find someone who's aligned with everything you care about. I think at the very least, they'll care about you, so they'll care about those things and they'll support you as you care about those things. But it's really hard to find a partnership where you are actually united by the things you care about. That used to be the dream for a lot of people growing up in Christian circles, was that the dream would be what united a couple. You know, that would be the foundation that you would build a relationship on. That was at the altar. That was part of the picture at the altar. It's hard, though, in our fast-paced moving world when you may have started off on the same foot, and then maybe one of you changes your colors, changes your tune. You go from a hummingbird to a mockingbird. And what do you share at all anymore when one of you has evolved faster than the other person, right? In some of my relationships, over the course of the relationship, I have changed my views on gender roles and patriarchy. That happened in a relationship, so the bird wasn't the same bird anymore. In another relationship, I changed my stance on LGBTQ inclusion, and so the bird didn't exist. Well, they tried, but you know, it's not the same. And they kept being involved at a church that did not include the queer community. And so that was a big no-no for me. I couldn't keep going to that church where my friends wouldn't be welcomed. And so that was a big source of tension. So the social subtype is real. It is so real. And I'm not even talking about subtypes in cultural contexts. For example, we live in a very individualistic Western society where no matter your personality or subtype, the standard is still, I am my own person, I make my own decisions, right? And so if someone in an individualistic society has a stronger social subtype, it still may not be as strongly expressed as someone from a collectivist culture with a stronger one-to-one subtype, because it'll still always be in the background culturally. So the way these things interact is super interesting, and we will unpack that more in future days, right? What does it look like when an American person with a social subtype is hanging out with somebody from a collectivist culture, but who in their own personality doesn't have a strong social subtype? What does that look like? Very, very, very interesting to me, at least. Okay, we have not really talked about self-preservation yet. We will do that another time. I just don't want us to forget about it. So we've got the social subtype, the one-to-one subtype, and the self-preservation subtype. Hope that gets your wheels turning, and hope it helps you understand some of our Love is Blind couples on display, but more importantly, your own relationships, whether they be family love, romantic love, or friendship love, or family love.